All right, we'll get to Paul Hamilton. Paul Hamilton joining us on the Western Hotline. The Sabres played in overtime last night and lost. Hey, Paul, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Paul, you've heard these emotions, a million trade deadlines in years past, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
Right.
I mean, you said it perfectly.
Well, it just feels like when you've got an opportunity, I like the caller said, I can't know the trades that they ultimately did not pull the trigger on, but you've never won, you're good, and it feels like a missed opportunity. That's how it feels.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought is again, they didn't do anything. I just don't think Bean values wide receiver because he has Josh Allen. I really think he honestly believes that if you have Josh Allen, you just basically need guys that can catch the ball. And it doesn't really matter who they are because you have Josh Allen. And, of course, if you have Josh Allen, you're always in the ball game. You're always in the hunt. That's true. But you can also get a lot better if you have better wide receivers than the Buffalo Bills have.
Also would have thought, maybe defensive tackle, defensive end. So I'm the wide receiver guy, Paul. I need to make sure people know I was open to other positions as well. Anyway, all right, so the Sabres, Paul, they lost in overtime last night and had the stat from earlier that in their last 14 overtime games, they have one goal. They go to shootouts and they lose. They do not win in 3-on-3. And I guess the question I've got for you is, not that you have all 14 of these fresh on the top of your mind, is this a structural problem or is this that players on this team don't finish in overtime?
They don't finish. They have had golden opportunities. And you're right. I mean, 5 in a row for the Sabres, and the only one that they won was the shootout. And in every single one of them, the guys that you could handpick to get the opportunities got them. And they were grade A, great opportunities. And last night, Alex Tuck, right down the middle. Great glove save. Yeah, the Sabres were facing a goalie who they just can't beat. He is a Sabre killer, but that's the guy. You could say, all right, you're going to get one just fantastic scoring chance. Who would you like? Well, Thompson, of course, would come out of your mouth.
Yep.
Tuck might be the second one out of your mouth. And he got it. And he also, if you recall, got an absolutely wide open net in the third period on a 3-on-1. They executed it perfectly. Great pass right to Tuck. Wide open net. Missed the net. I mean, so he had 2 grade A golden opportunities, one to put the Sabres ahead, the other to win the hockey game, and he couldn't do it. But back to the overtime thing, I mean, in every single one of them, it's that those are the guys that are getting the chances, and I mean, they're playing. I mean, they had it going in. Their points percentage was .722 in their last 9. They have one regulation loss in their last 10 games. Yep. One. And all they're doing is staying above water. They're 1 point out of the cellar in the Eastern Conference, and they're 1 point out of the 2 wild card positions held by Toronto and Philadelphia, who have 15 points. And the Sabres are sitting there with 5 other teams at 14 points. And behind them are the Washington Capitals and Florida Panthers with 13 points. So that's the crazy thing about this, is one regulation loss, 5-1-4 in their last 10 games, and all they've been able to do is keep up.
Yeah. Paul, you mentioned Thompson with a chance there. He's got 5 goals in 13 games. One thing that kind of jumps out at me about Thompson, his shooting percentage this year is half of what it was last year. His last 4 seasons, 15, 16, 12, and 18, if I can round a little bit here. And this year he's shooting at 9%. Do you find that Tage is snake-bitten, or is he not getting the same kind of chances? What do you see out of Thompson? Because if his shooting percentage were double, he'd have double the goals, right? And maybe a career high, asking for a career high, which is what last year was, is asking a bit much. But he is below his career shooting percentage considerably.
And I think with him, he will get there. I don't know when that will be, but he will get there. He had 2 posts last night. One early. He went into the backhand and hit a post. So right now I think he's just snake bitten. He's the one guy I don't particularly worry about when it comes to goal scoring and slumps and that kind of thing, because last year I remember he didn't score a goal at all. I think it was the first 5 games, somewhere in there. And then the next thing, he scored in every game for the next 5 or 6. And he was off and running. So he just has to get off and running and see the puck go in the net. And he, too, has had some opportunities to win hockey games for them. And it looked like for a bit there that maybe it was starting to come. He did score in consecutive games. It was the 2 Leaf games. I think he had 3 goals in the 2 Leaf games. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go. I mean, now he's going to get going. And, he really hasn't. And I hate to sit here. I know it's next guy up, and I know they now in the last week have 3 guys that have scored their first NHL goal. It's the first time since Richard Schmelik and Yuri Hemelev scored their first NHL goals that's happened for them. That's how long ago it was. But to me, here they are playing one of the best teams in the National Hockey League so far this year in the Utah Mammoth. They're 3 points behind Colorado for the lead in the Central Division. And as I'm going through very quickly, I believe Colorado has the most points. They do. They have the most points in the NHL. So Utah has really played well this year. And the Sabres show up without Josh Norris, Zach Benson, Jason Zucker, Yuri Kulik, Tyson Kozak, and Justin Danforth. And Colton Ellis, I still don't think is 100%. That's tough. I mean, Norris and Benson are supposed to be on your top line. Zucker was just on your top line with Kulik, trying to fill in. They're sick. I mean, that's a tough task to come in and play. That's a lot of people out of your lineup. And Roseanne and Austin are doing a nice job. So is Dunn coming up from Rochester, but they aren't the players that I just named. And that's a tough task to ask. And they still were able to get a point and had every opportunity to win a hockey game, even without those guys. And by the way, the only one with a chance of being ready Thursday would be Kozak.
803-0550 for Paul Hamilton on the Sabres here. Paul, you've seen a couple games here of Michael Kesselring, who they got from Utah last night, a revenge game for Doan and Kesselring and Peterka. What are you seeing from Kesselring? How do you like him as a player and how he fits in this team right now?
I agree with him. I think he evaluated himself perfectly on the pregame show that it's time. He goes, first game I did all right, the next 2 I didn't. He goes, I've had enough games now. It's time to get my game back. Because this is basically, if you think about it, been his preseason. And right off the bat, he had maybe the best chance. Nope, I think Tuck missing the net, a wide open net. The second best chance of the night when Byram saw him come in from the right point. He was wide open. Byram put a perfect pass on his stick, down low, right where Vejmelka is. Kesselring knows Vejmelka. He's teammates with. He knows what he can do, and he somehow got over and stopped what should have been a tap-in. It was a perfect pass, and Kesselring, I could just tell how frustrated and angry he was coming back that he missed that opportunity. That was very early in the game, which would have given the Sabres a 1-0 lead. And then Byram missed coming down the middle, and then Byram set up Quinn. This all happened like within 30 seconds. And, then I thought to myself, yep, this goaltender has goalied them his whole career right now. Against the Sabres, he is now 5-2-1 with a 1.75 goals against and a 941 save percentage. And remember the guy who's backing him up, Vanacek?
Yeah.
His numbers are just about the same against Buffalo. These 2 goaltenders, it might be the best 2 goaltenders against Buffalo active in the NHL right now. But Kesselring, I'm starting to see him get a little bit more involved offensively, in the offensive zone, being that 4th guy coming in late. And, he made a good hit. I haven't seen a lot of contact yet, which I think we will. I just think he's trying to find his footing. He said systemly he's trying to find his footing with the system, but he said It's long enough, He goes, I did have some preseason. I didn't have a lot. And, he said he has 4 games, and he was very blunt. He says the time has come. I got to start playing up to my potential.
Paul Hamilton on the Wester Hotline, chatting Sabres, who lost in overtime last night. So, Paul, eye on the blue and gold. Let's do that going forward, because you mentioned all the injuries. Like, are we expecting to see them get healthier soon? I mean, how long until they start to get some of their bodies back?
Well, I saw Benson with a walking boot on last night.
All right, so that's not good.
Yeah, so he still has it on. So he doesn't look like he's coming back. I think I can confidently say I'm not going to see him Thursday. Zucker and Kulik. Zucker was sick, and then yesterday Ruff said he's worse. That's why he went on IR, to make room for Ostland, because Ruff said, he goes, I don't think Zucker and Kulik could be ready anyway on Thursday, and you can retroact IR. So Zucker went on IR last Saturday, and then he'd be eligible to come off this Saturday. If he's not ready Thursday and wasn't going to be ready, you could have put them both on IR if you wanted to and pulled them off, on Saturday. Kulik, he's trying to play with what I'll call an inner ear infection. I usually don't speculate, but I've had one, very bad one in college, where I tried to get out of bed. I fell right to the floor. I mean, you just have no sense of balance whatsoever. And the way Lindy Ruff described it, he goes, it's kind of like when your kid, and you, Jeremy, you would know this better than I would, has like fluid in their ears.
Yeah.
And he said he tried to play through it and he just couldn't. And so to me, that's an inner ear infection. So it's affecting his balance. And he's not getting better either. So that's why Lindy Ruff was very pessimistic that those two would be ready Thursday. But I think there's a good chance maybe in Carolina on Saturday they could get maybe those two back. So there's 3 guys that have a chance to get back maybe fairly soon.
Paul Hamilton on the Wester Hotline. That's Eye on the Blue and Gold, brought to you by Great Lakes Building Systems. We keep an eye on your business. You don't have to. Great Lakes Building Systems. Our business is protecting your business. All right, Paul. So next up, the Blues tomorrow night, and then a road trip. The Sabres have not been on the road too much this year. Feels like they're home every night. But Carolina, Utah, Colorado, Detroit coming up after this game against the Blues.
And we talked about when we saw the schedule, if the Sabres have to take advantage of this home schedule, 5-0-2. What do you think? Are they taking advantage of the home schedule so far?
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, in their last 7 games, they're 5-0-2. They lost the first one at home, of course, to the Rangers, and but once they got it rolling at home, I mean, here they are, 7 home games since they got going, and 5-0-2. So I think they're at least doing that, but they still have not won a road game.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Paul Hamilton. His appearance brought to you by Raylax Honda. Raylax, we got this.